Hello, it's me again, and got a new puzzle to work our way through. This is a 3 by 3 by 5. Interesting shape, kind of going off on the whole crazy circle motif. Well, you got the circle part on the top, but not on the bottom, interestingly enough. Plus, you have different sized cubes. This is obviously not the same size as this, because officially, if this truly followed the laws of Tower, the 3 by 5 should be able to shapeshift. It actually does shapeshift in a way, but not the way you might think. And then when you turn it, the axis is not in the middle, it's actually on the side, almost like the evil versions. So it makes for slightly skewed solving, but not impossible. So, scramble and see what we got. And scramble. And it's scrambled. So we sort of have kind of a false shape-shifting thing going on. Something to bear in mind as you look at this, the top layer here is kind of a false layer. Something to just sort of cause this crazy thing to spin around. But I'm going to solve it much like a 3 by 3 by 4 and deal with these hanging layers at some other time. So I'm going to start off with a white layer, the one with the Wood Eden logo on it, and I'm going to get the cross first. So I'm going to start off, the way to get the cross is I want both the inner and outer edges together. Starting off with the orange, figuring out what goes just to the right of the orange. We can look at some of the corner pieces here. And here's orange. It appears that maybe blue is the next one. All right, so here's the blue one here that's already in place. So that means I'm going to want to put the red one in place. So here's a red center, but it's not the right red center. The red center that I'm looking for is going to be defined by the outer edge. So let's look for another red. Here's another red. Moving this over, you can see the outer edge is in place. So the outer edge is here. So we've got orange, blue, red, and now we're going to want to put the green. See where we can find the proper green. It's not that. It's actually probably this. It's just hidden under here. So the way to get this back is I'm going to move this to where an inner one will be postured to pick this one up. Move this to the side. Rotate this up. Then move this in so that I can move the inner and the outer edge in place and then move it down. So I've got my cross. Now we got it back to the cuboid form, but that actually was not my goal to start off with. So just forget that had happened. Make sure that, yeah, so this works well. The next step is we're going to solve the second layer, and we're going to first get our middles in place. Now the way that we rotate through it, you might think we rotate it from this layer, but we actually don't because of this skewed shape, because this actually rotates down to the bottom. So it's this layer just above that's going to rotate to this bottom layer, to the second layer over here. So that's the one I'm going to use. So we have red, green is already in place, orange is already in place. We just have to get the blue in place. So we'll find the blue from this layer. Here it is over here. So we move it down twice, bring it across, move it back up, and then move it in. So we have blue, red, green, orange. So that isn't too difficult. You just, if others weren't in place, you just go ahead and get those in place. Next is we're going to do our corners here. So we're going to borrow the corners from the layer just above using the same algorithms. So we'll start off with a blue and the red. So find blue and red, blue and red, blue and red. Can't find it, so we'll move on to the next one. Red and green. Here's red and green in the right configuration because when we rotate it down, it's going to go opposite. So as you recall, the corner switch is going to be the 2R, and then U, where this is defined as U, 2R, UI, 2R. So we have that in place. Now, get used to, after you're doing this, kind of cleaning things up. Notice we lost our cuboid shape, but that's fine. It wasn't really my goal to get it at this point. But we did lose our middle here. So be cognizant of that and always just get the middle back if you can. So we need to get the middle red back and put this up. So to do that is I'm going to take the middle inner here, the inner edge, move it to the side, move this back up, rotate this back to the side to get the red back, and move it back down. So we reconstitute our cross, and we didn't really affect this. So we'll move on. Green and orange already in place. Orange and blue. Here's an orange and blue, which happens to be in the right configuration here. Turn and put it in. So that's where it needs to be. Lost our middle, so we'll get it back. Move the colored one to the side. Move this up. Put it back in our middle. Move it down. So we're kind of constantly checking ourselves and cleaning it up. It's just going to make it easier. These tend to peel away, unfortunately, because they slide under these a lot. So might not make the cube last as long as you would like in terms of the stickers. Blue and red. Find it here. And it's right over here. Blue and red. So same thing. All right. Reconstitute our middle here. This is in place here. We're just going to move this up, rotate this up. 2. Rotate this and then bring it down. So the end result of this is we have our cross and we have this layer solved. The layer just above we're going to solve, but everything is in the right layer. It's just mixed around. So we're going to have to do corner swaps and middle swaps. As I recall, the technique of this is going to be to get a sandwich formation, either with all of them, where you have 2 colors that are the same and one middle that's not, so we can do middle swaps, or just one, which is in this case. If you have one, you move it to the left side, and then you do a corner switch to make all of them either solved or with a sandwich formation. And it's just like all the other cuboids. In this case, it's going to be 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. Then we rotate it counterclockwise and then do just the opposite. 2R, UI, 2R, U, 2R. The end result of that is they're all either solved or you've got just sandwich formations, which is what you have here. Let's quickly get our centers back so it's not a problem. You're not going to mess anything up here, so don't worry. Move this to the side. Rotate this in. Okay, so we're good. So now we're just going to do middle swaps. We can do adjacent middle swaps or opposite middle swaps. These algorithms we've gone over before, and we'll just do an adjacent middle swap here, which is 2R, U, 2R, U, 2R, 2U, 2R, 2U, whoa, 2R, U, 2R, UI, 2R. And there you have it. So we've solved these 2 layers over here. We still have our cross.